We all want our kids to learn. We scour curriculums to find the best one. We try all sorts of different things to get them the best learning environment. But the reality is, there is actually one simple thing that we can do for kids to help foster their learning. Hi guys, Kathleen here. I'm a homeschool graduate, homeschool mom, and learning enthusiast. And in this video, I'm going to try to be as realistic and as open as possible so you guys can see how simple this rule is to put into practice in your own life. So, what is the simple principle that you can do to help foster your kids' learning? Give them space. Now, I'm going to show you what I mean by this. I am actually cleaning up after dinner when I was thinking about all of this. So here I have with my son's empty milk glass and our ketchup bottle. And I want to show you what our life actually looks like and what it looks like to give your kids space. So when I clean up at the end of the day, I do not clean off everything from what my kids have been doing. So you'll see in the table here in just a second when I turn around that Stephen has a pile of stuff here on the table. So we have leftover dinner stuff, and then back over here, this is his zone, which I have had a long road in letting go, but he has his snap circuits here. He has his paper airplanes here that he was working on. He has headphones over here from when he was listening to an audiobook earlier today that is a MP3 download that the library has. So I'm only going to clean off some of this. So I'm going to put away the audiobook, I'm going to put away the headphones and the scissors, but leave out all of this other stuff here to give him space. Because when I put away this stuff, the next day it'll be out of sight, out of mind, so he won't be able to be as creative. I discovered this principle actually because I have not been doing any sewing of my own for the last several years. My mom taught me to sew when I was young, and I love sewing, but in this house, I have never set up a dedicated space to do my own sewing. And instead, I've actually given Stephen the space that I was thinking of taking over in the dining room here. So that has actually impeded me from sewing. It's up in the storage area in our attic. And I didn't want that for my son. So Stephen has this space here. When he has art projects out, I straighten stuff up and just leave it there. And you'll see some of the results of that here, because for several days he had an art book out and papers out. So he was able to draw a city. He was able to do a robot. He was able to do a race car because I was leaving his art supply stuff out there. So it was reminding him, hey, yes, I'm interested in that right now. I'm going to go do it. It's not stuffed away on the shelf, so it's an extra impediment from him getting it out. Now, there's a second way you can give your kids space. I'm going to actually show you the realistic part of that here. You can give your kids space by giving them time to do their own stuff. So I filmed a day in the life video yesterday, and if that's not out yet, I am going to link it up here when it is. But that shows you a glimpse into our typical day, especially the realistic part of it. But it was also a non-typical day in the fact that we made bread per his requests. We made tandem naan, which is a Central Asian bread. So I was exhausted after yesterday, and the dishes from that are still drying over there on the counter. They're dry, they were done yesterday, but I was exhausted today, so I've not put them away. Instead, I chose, after our play group today with our homeschool friends at the park, I chose to let this day be a day of rest. So I gave him space via time all afternoon to do whatever he wanted instead of doing school. So he chose to do snap circuits. He chose to do several paper airplanes. He chose to listen to his botany book, which I had to put away for dinner. But he had this pulled out and asked me to put on the audiobook for him to listen to. He's been listening to Anna Hibiscus today on the CD player that I have here, with CDs we borrowed from the library. This morning, I was sure to read to both my kids, so I put away those books that were on the couch. But it's been really space for him in the schedule to do what he wants, but also space for me because I get exhausted. I get um, just dragged dry trying to keep up with giving him the information he needs, which is something that happens when you have a gifted kid. Which is why I have also been wanting to find all sorts of independent things to keep him busy. So I have the opportunity to give him space and give me much needed space. Now, lest you think our house is just chaos at the end of the day, because I'm giving our kids space to do everything. Look at the play area here. My husband made sure just 10 minutes ago when he was getting the kids ready for bed to have them pick up the loft area. But I'll show you another piece of space here. This is another one of Stephen's areas of space. We never make him clean up this for the most part. Sometimes he collects too much up here and I tell him, you can't work here. You need to clean up your space. But the paper airplanes he's been making have made their way up here. Some of his experiments with physics and discovery on race cars are up here. But that's another one of the things I wanted to mention. I have YouTube videos that I give Stephen that he can watch on his own. And because I've given him this space of time, he's been able to set up scenarios of the race cars that he's seen there. Or there was a video that my husband got him hooked on where a backhoe had been stuck in a whole bunch of mud and they spent a long time trying to get that backhoe out. My son was fascinated by that. So today in the kinetic sand, he was playing that he was digging the backhoe out of the sand. And so all the other construction trucks came around to dig it out. And that would never have happened if I was regimenting every single day, telling him exactly what to do. Our kids, especially our younger kids, need space to explore the world on their own, to be their own selves. And us giving them that freedom, but also being there to help them when they can't quite figure out the paper airplane instructions, gives them the freedom to learn in their own way, in their own method, so that they are rested, they are ready to come back to the more formal, more regimented homeschool program we have set up for them. So I hope that's encouraging to you. I hope you can find your own space in your life.